I know, like, I've gone through half of the water bottle already, and we haven't even started. I don't, but it's okay.
Our call to worship this morning is number 434 in your hymnal. Our hymnal actually is packed full of songs and readings. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. Good morning. You know I'm going to do this, right? We can do better than this. Good morning. Yes. Thank you. I'm Laura Edinger, hymn leader. Today I'm going to serve in a couple different hats: hymn leader, lay liturgist, and conveyor of time for all ages. I'm thrilled to share leadership of today's service with my dear friends, Lois Voigt and Marjy Schubauer-Hartman. And we have our service techs. We have two today, Amy Firestein and Arlie Henninger-Voss. Our guest pianist, thank you very much, Beverly Drake. And our other wonderful guest musicians, James Henninger-Voss and J.D. Stillwater. There you go. That's the energy we need. Yes. Whether you're a member or a visitor joining us in person, or if you're worshiping virtually, we're so happy that you've chosen to join us this morning. For our worshipers online, a Zoom online coffee hour will follow services starting at 11:30. And for those here in person, we'll have coffee hour in person in the common room downstairs. Please speak with Mike McCullough if you're interested in helping with coffee hour. We can always use help. We're so happy you've chosen to worship with us, and we welcome you to our fellowship hours and any other in-person or online activities by UCH. In the spirit of the transformative power of community in all its forms, I'm so happy to welcome you to the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whomever you love, whatever you do for a living, you are welcome at UCH.
Our chalice lighting this morning is from 448 in our hymnal. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Please rise and grab your gray hymnal. We're going to sing number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. So today we have a story from a book called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, and it's by Charlie Mackesy. I stumbled upon this book a little while ago and thought it fit well with this service. So I'm going to read a little bit from it, not the whole thing. I mean, it's actually not, there's only a few words per pages and lots of pictures, so it's not terribly long. I don't want to scare you with the size of this book. We're not going to be here for like 10 years. So the author writes, "Hello, you started at the beginning, which is impressive. I usually start in the middle and never read introductions." So it's surprising that I made a book because I'm not good at reading them. The truth is, I need pictures. They're like islands, places to get into a sea of words. It says, "This book is for everyone, whether you're 80 or 8. I feel like I'm both sometimes." I'd like it to be one you can dip into anywhere, anytime. Start in the middle if you like, which is kind of what we're going to do. The drawings are mainly of a boy, a mole, a fox, and a horse. I'll tell you a little bit about them, although I'm sure you'll see that things, well, we'll send you pictures of the book. The boy is lonely when the mole first surfaces. They spend time together gazing into the wild. I think the wild is a bit like life, frightening sometimes, but beautiful. In their wanderings, they meet the fox. It's never going to be easy meeting a fox if you're a mole. The boy is full of questions. The mole is greedy for cake. The fox is mainly silent and wary because he's been hurt by life. The horse is the biggest thing they've ever encountered and also the gentlest. They are all different, like us, and each has their own weaknesses. I can see myself in all 4 of them. Perhaps you can too. Their adventures happen in springtime, where one moment snow is falling and the sun shines, the next, which is also a little bit like life, it can turn on a sixpence. I hope this book encourages you perhaps to live courageously with more kindness for yourself and for others, and to ask for help when you need it, which is always a brave thing to do. Okay. When I was making the book, I often wondered, who on earth am I to be doing this? But as the horse says, the truth is, everyone is winging it. So I say, spread your wings and follow your dreams. This book is one of mine. It's from the author. So the little boy is saying, and he's holding up the mole. I'm so small, said the mole. Yes, said the boy, but you make a huge difference. What do you think success is? Asked the boy. To love, said the mole. I got you a delicious cake, said the mole. Did you? Yes. Where is it? Well, I ate it, said the mole. Oh, but I got you another. Did you? Where's that one? Well, the same thing seems to have happened. What do you think is the biggest waste of time? Comparing yourself to others, said the mole. I wonder if there is a school of unlearning. Most of the old moles I know wish they had listened less to their fears and more to their dreams. What is that over there? It's the wild, said the mole. Don't fear it. Imagine how we would be if we were less afraid. Then here comes the fox. I'm not afraid, said the mole. If I wasn't caught in this snare, I'd kill you, said the fox. Oh, life. If you stay in that snare, you will die, said the mole. So the mole chewed through the wire with his tiny teeth. And he saved the fox. One of our greatest freedoms is how we react to things. I've learned how to be in the present. How? Asked the boy. I find a quiet spot and shut my eyes and breathe. That's good. And then I focus. Well, what do you focus on? Cake, said the mole. And they're looking at the sky. So much beauty we need to look after. Being kind to yourself is one of the greatest kindnesses, said the mole. We often wait for kindness, but being kind to yourself can start now, said the mole. Often the hardest person to forgive is yourself. Sometimes I feel lost, said the boy. Me too, said the mole. But we love you, and love brings you home. So we'll conclude that there. Highly recommend. So at this point in our service, we will sing any little folks we have downstairs. Bless you on your way, little you feel love every day. May your light shining bright transform the world. Now we bless you on your way. May you feel love every day. May your light shining bright transform the world with love. Sorry. We are tied together by the movements and the various works of our lives. Individual notes, our joys and concerns, create intricate melodies. Accordingly, this is the time in our service where we share our joys and sorrows. And we invite you to come forward as you're willing or able to place a stone in the water, or you can light a candle, or you could do both of which memorialize the joy or sorrow you're holding in your heart or holding in your body. If you feel so moved, you're also invited to write a message to be shared. It's near the candles. If a message is written, I'd ask that you please indicate if you wish for it to be shared aloud, or if you would prefer that that message just remain between you and the minister. We have a couple concerns that have been put forward. Charles Bird would hopes that his brother's back operation on Tuesday is successful. So let's all keep a good thought for him that goes smoothly and the recovery is quick. And Kathy Stewart writes, our beloved postman has taken his own life. We're so concerned for his partner who is 7 months pregnant. So let's also keep a good thought, pray whatever works for you, for these folks, that they are able to move through a difficult time. And for all of the other joys and sorrows that we're holding on our hearts, please just take a minute to breathe. Celebrate the hope and the joy, and hold space for the sorrow and concern. I'll just take a minute. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
You just never know what she's going to do. So.
And so we, wait, am I on?
Yeah.
And so we began.
2 months ago, Marjy and I traveled to South Dakota for my Uncle Vert's funeral. He was the last of my parents' 16 siblings. Before the service, we gathered at the family farm and checked out the projects in my brother's piano shop. And then, for the first time in nearly a decade, and the first time ever with my wife, my siblings and their spouses and Marjy and I had just a few minutes to sing together. They were songs from our childhood, ones we knew well, including the one that inspired the title for this morning's service. This is our story, these are our songs. Sadly, the camera operator, me, managed to miss a few people, including Marjy. But if we're fortunate, here's a bit of our impromptu jam. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Marjy and my relationship wasn't exactly music to my siblings' ears. Same-sex relationships still aren't embraced in the denomination I grew up in, and ours was particularly difficult for my brother, who's also a devoted member of the Gideon Society. But this service will demonstrate how a little bit of defiance, mixed with music, perseverance, and a loving community have joined our lives together.
Disclaimer, we know who we are. Lo and I don't typically volunteer as vocal soloists. We love singing in the UCH choir, and Lois is often called upon to play piano here at church. We are enthusiastic musicians who have been playing and reading music since childhood. We are happy amateurs. So, this isn't a recital, it's not a concert, as much as it is us using music to tell our story. Thank you to Yvonne Duvall, who planted the seeds of this service with her beautiful work in her Evensong programs. The lyrics will be projected to allow you to better understand the music. For the last two songs, we additionally invite you to sing along. For those of you wanting a 3-point sermon out of this experience, you might, Lois wrote that, of course, you might pick up on the following themes. Music transcends. Community, all of us, and tribe matter. And perseverance is required.
So now, finally, back to our beginning. How did an introverted farmer's daughter from South Dakota ever get together with an extroverted Marjy from Central PA? Yeah, we practiced that.
Hey, if I can't surprise you, I'm not doing my job.
A person from a traditional beer-loving German family with a teetotaling German Baptist family.
Next slide, please. That was the deal.
Well,
Next slide again.
I had tickets to see my favorite jazz artist, Renee Marie, perform in the off-Broadway premiere of her one-woman show, acting and singing. Libby Tisdale couldn't come, neither could the first 3 or 4 or 5 people I asked. So just 3 days before the event, I approached school teacher Marge, who never wants to commit to anything the night before a week of teaching. And I asked the question, do you ever do crazy things on a Sunday night? Yeah, she does. And she did that week. It was an amazing show, and the 6-hour round trip to New York City and back gave us ample time to get to know one another. A month or so later, Marjy came up to me at the piano in church and invited herself over to revive her violin playing skills. Simple Gifts is one of the first songs we ever did together that afternoon.
Thank you. We'll spare you the rest, but I think you get the picture. The title is 50% true at this point in our lives. The relationship between us is very much a gift. But boy, it is not simple. We're different in many ways, and, well, alike in the wrong way in many folks' eyes. Will fear win out? Does love prevail despite the difficulties? Will Lois stay employed at Messiah College? Will my daughters accept this change in their mom?
That jam session lasted nearly 5 hours as the love of music started to morph into more. Eventually, we got to this next song. Perhaps you can understand how Marjy, who was in the process of leaving a long marriage to the father of her children, and me, who was then employed at non-LGBTQ-friendly Messiah College, thought some of the words were spot on, while others only needed minor changes.
There is so much to unpack here. Let's start with the obvious. This is a song about Mary Magdalene's unrequited love for Jesus from a popular musical. Lois and I have Christian backgrounds, and we are moving in uncharted territory. Influences from childhood would suggest we better tread lightly. Secondly, at that point in time, I was uncoupling from my now ex-husband and was very saddened at the loss of an intact family for my teenage daughters. So I quite literally no longer knew how to love him. Finally, this song, I Don't Know How to Love Him, from the musical Jesus Christ Superstar, was popularized as a single in 1971 by Helen Reddy. Helen Reddy of Delta Dawn and Angie Baby fame. And if you're like me, you're thinking, Marge, that's not what she's famous for. You're right. Helen Reddy is most famous for her feminist anthem, I Am Woman. Listen for the layers of meaning as Laura, Lois, and I take you through this Marlowe milestone.
I don't know how to love him, what to do, how to move him. I've been changed, yes, really changed. In these past few days, when I've seen myself, I seem like someone else. I don't know how to take this. I don't see why he moves me. He's a man. He's just a man. And I've had so many men before in very many ways. He's just one more.
Should I bring him down? Should I scream and shout? Should I speak of love? Let my feelings out. I never thought I'd come to this. What's it all about?
I'm the one who's always been so calm and cool, the lover's fool, running every show. She scares me so.
Should I bring him down? Should I scream and shout? Should I speak of love? Let my feelings out. I never thought I'd come to this. What's it all about? Yet if she said she loved me, I'd be lost, I'd be frightened, I couldn't go. Just go. I turn my head, I'd back away, I wouldn't want to know. She scares me so. I want her so. I love her so. It was an exciting, scary, and exhilarating time. Despite what we were both feeling when we sang that song together, neither one of us wanted to ruin a really great friendship. It was another 3 or 4 weeks before one of us got up the courage to name what she was feeling. Believe it or not, Lo was the one to break the ice. There were some challenges along the way, and Lo had to stay on the down low at work until she ultimately changed jobs. But there was one place where people were totally happy for us. And you're in it. It's this church.
Backing up, is this mic on now? Nope. Then, alternative plan. We figured this could happen. Backing up just a little. Some credit for our getting to that first long afternoon of music needs to go to our very own Kathy Stewart and Libby Tisdale.
Thank you, Kathy. Libby, out in the Grand Canyon.
They had been members of a former UCH Couch Fellowship group that morphed along the way, and they invited both Marjy and me to join a meeting with the original members, or some of the original members, earlier that year. That group is now dubbed FOF, which stands for, or FOF in short, which either stands for Festival of Friends, a phrase from the chorus of this next song, or Friends of Fun. Could any members of FOF who are present this morning join us up here for this next song?
If you would like to. So we're not going to mic you unless you like wrestle me for the mic, and good luck.
This song's actual name is The Gathering of Spirits, and it was written by Carrie Newcomer. We sing it almost every time we meet. It was a song we found when Mary Kay Doyle, a former member, was dying of cancer 8 years ago. Our FOF friends were the first folks in this church with whom we shared the happy news of our relationship. followed not too much later by the members of the choir. This song reminds us that we need a tribe with whom to share both the joys and the sorrows of life. You all as well, please join us in singing a slightly abridged version of this song.
As we're wrestling the mic, I apologize for not masking during the times I'm not speaking or singing, but it takes this other microphone off of my face, so I'm not flouting any rules. And how are we on the microphone? Are we good?
Good morning. Wait a minute. We have another mic move.
Did you know that monarchs, turns out, have just been added to the endangered species list? But I also heard this morning that last year, I think the numbers were on the rise. So, and speaking of monarchs, look at Kathy Stewart over there. Yep, that's what I was sharing, Kath, that it's now an endangered species, so get that milkweed. Okay, how are we on the mics?
I think we're good.
Oh, sorry, no more fun facts from me. Let it go, my love, my truest. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling and that's for certain, but it's such a fine thing. There's a gathering of spirits, there's a festival of friends, and we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. I can't explain it, I couldn't if I tried. How the only things we carry are the things we hold inside, like a day in the open, like a love we won't forget, like the laughter that we started at. It hasn't died down yet. Oh, let it go, my love, my truest. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain, but it's such a fine thing. There's a gathering of spirits, there's a festival of friends, and we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. Oh yeah, now didn't we? And don't we make it shine? Are we standing in the center of something rare and fine? Some glow like embers, like a light through colored glass. Some get it all in one great flame, throwing kisses as they pass. But let it go, my love, my truest. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling and that's for certain, but it's such a fine thing. There's a gathering of spirits, there's a festival of friends, and we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. And we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. Thank you. So we love our tribe within this community, and I have here in my script, just in case they didn't, that I was going to say, now go ahead and sit down, Foff, but thank you. Chris, do you want to come back up? Anyway, this next song, which is the final song for us, is one of several that Chris Dutton's husband, Larry Hoover, introduced us to. He asked us to sing with him the year before he died. And as another illustration of the importance of tribe, Chris walked down the aisle as one of our flower girls at our wedding at Market Street in October of 2017. That very same weekend, shortly after Larry's death, the Sunday after our wedding, we attended Larry's memorial here and sang this song, which has found a special place in our hearts. Lo, I'm going to get a little drink of water between us, just Lo and I, and then we'll start. This is water. It's not liquid courage. It's water. Lois would tell you that's not in the script. Hit it. If you get too worried, what you ought to do is sing. If you get worried, what you ought to do is sing. If you get worried, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your troubles, and it just might pass. If you get lost, what you ought to do is sing. If you get lost, what you ought to do is sing. If you get lost, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your trouble, and it just might pass. Sing about your trouble, and it just might pass. Sing about joy. Sing about love and hope in it lasts. Sing about your trouble. It just might pass. It just might pass. If you get broken, what you ought to do is sing. If you get broken, what you ought to do is sing. If you get broken, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your trouble, and it just might pass. Sing about your trouble, and it just might pass. Sing about joy. Sing about love and hope in it lasts. Sing about your trouble, and it just might pass. It just might pass. If you get too worried, what you ought to do is sing. If you get worried, what you ought to do is sing. If you get worried, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your trouble, and it just might pass. Sing about your trouble, and it just might pass. In the wake of a long pandemic, well, that's not over, climate change crises, the January 6th hearings, recent Supreme Court decisions, its message seems really important. You hear about music as a salve for the lost, the broken, and the worried. In 2022, isn't that all of us? We are not in a blissful place. We need some beauty, some respite in this trying time, something to sing about.
We fully recognize that our lives as two married women have been vastly easier than that of so many same-sex partners who suffered silently or fought on the front lines in preceding decades. We owe a huge debt to those who have cleared a path for us. We applaud those efforts and thank those individuals, including the many both gay and straight allies in this very church. Thank you for giving us moments of joy, like the two in these pictures. We are so grateful for this community, for those who sustain it, and for those who continue to fight for the rights of others and for the health of our planet. May it always be so.
Namaste.
So pardon me while I just cry my way through the rest of the service. Please join me in reading the unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. I just have to say another thank you. That was just, you both are marvelous. The Unitarian Church of Harrisburg is, as always, a freely gathered church of free people. The church is created, sustained, and supported by you. The ministry continues whether or not the church building is open or closed. Each month, we share half of our Sunday plate with a local nonprofit organization. This month, we share the plate with Downtown Daily Bread. You can read a little bit more about Downtown Daily Bread, DDB, in your order of service. But they're a 501c3 organization that serves the hungry and the homeless of Harrisburg, providing a daily lunch, counseling services, showers, lockers, mail delivery, and a safe and secure environment to rest and access a variety of other assistance. They're a ministry of Pine Street Presbyterian Church. So really important things. For those worshiping online or for those here in person who wish to contribute online, please see the email with the link for today's service, or you can visit uchbg.org, our homepage for options for contributing. For those who are here in the sanctuary who wish to contribute in person, the collection plates will be passed around by today's ushers. Closing hymn this morning is number 1030 in your teal hymnals. Teal hymnal, Siyahamba. yeah, you probably, please
Rise if you are able.
or rise in spirit or in body, whichever you prefer. Sure. So the words that are Siyahamba, if you want, you can repeat after me. Siyahamba, Kukanyen, Kwenkos, Siyahamba, Kukanyen, Kwenkos. And I believe we'd say that over, I think that's it. Is that it? All right. Off we go. Kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba, Siyahamba Kukanyen Kwenkos. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos. Last time. Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos. Our benediction this morning are the words of the Reverend Lynn Cox, who also married Marjy and Lois. Spirit of life, who draws us together in a web of holy relationships, make your presence known with us and in us and among us. Remind us that we are not alone in history. Ignite us with the courage of the living tradition. Remind us that we are not alone in entering the future. Anchor us with patience and perseverance. Remind us that we are not alone in our times of grief and pain. Comfort us with your spirit, manifest in human hands and voices. Remind us that we are not alone in joy and wonder. Inspire us to honor and extend the beauty we find in this world. Divine music of the universe, let our hearts beat in diverse and harmonious rhythms, cooperating with an everlasting dance of love. May we move with the rhythms of peace. May we move with the rhythms of compassion. May we move with the rhythms of justice. Source of stars and planets and water and land, open our hearts to our neighbors, open our souls to our renewal of faith, open our hands to join together in the work ahead. So be it. Blessed be. Amen. Siyahamba kuganyen cuencos, Siyahamba kuganyen cuencos, Siyahamba kuganyen cuencos, Siyahamba kuganyen cuencos, Siyahamba, Siyahamba, Siyahamba kuganyen cuencos.
As always, you do it. Always.